Hello and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ghosts. Today we got a couple of interesting things for you. First one, this Halloween is coming up, so by the time you hear this one, it might be long gone. It'll be over. Yep, it'll be over. Yep, by the time we get to editing and everything, it'll be over. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So the first one that we have is a brand new to us group that we found. And they're called City Paranormal. I think they've been out for a little while. I'm not sure.
I think so.
But this one, surprisingly, we found them. They had only posted their video 2 hours ago. Yeah. And it had already had 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Which was surprising. So obviously, I'm pretty sure they've been out for a while. Or people are just really looking for ghosty stuff right now because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
So this one... there wasn't any major title. It was a real paranormal investigation inside a haunted house. Big title for something small.
But you don't have to say it's a haunted house, but it wasn't.
But you know what? I think a lot of times those big long titles, those are all for keywords, algorithms, trying to get people's attention. Because when you search for something, if you have one of those keywords, we were looking for paranormal, and it was a paranormal investigation, so it popped up for us.
Yeah, but...
so I think that's why they do that. They use those keywords. Yeah. I know. Anyway, it first started out with this drone footage of this big, old, abandoned Victorian house. And at first I thought, geez, this is kind of cool. And it went on and on and on. And I was starting to wonder if we were going to actually get to anything, because all we had was this silent drone footage. No voices, no music, nothing. So, it was very well done, but that's all it was. Drone footage. And then finally we see the two guys, Adam and Mark. Yeah. When they first introduced themselves, I really couldn't catch their names. Their accents were quite thick. Yeah. Very UK-ish, and I don't know from where, because I'm, Canadian, and I don't know London. Dialects. And, somewhere out there. I don't know where they're from. Anyway,
London?
It went straight into the investigation, so no credits, no nothing. So it was really left us wondering where we were. We just know they were out in the country. This was an old... like a country manor house. It was beautiful. Yeah. But it was abandoned now. And we do know that it's abandoned because, well, first of all, it was empty, which was nice to see rather than having all these places with people that left debris behind and everything. So it was empty. And some of the things in the house were really quite cool. There was like an old wood stove still there. They had the brand new stove, I guess at the time. Yeah. But they'd left the old wood stove, probably because it was hard to... maybe you couldn't remove it easily, too, with the pipes and whatever. Who knows? I don't know. But it was a 3-story house, and we only saw the basement, the main floor, and the second floor. So don't know what was up on the third floor, if they even went up there. But they did do a fairly decent sweep. I call them a security sweep, because they weren't sweeping for anything paranormal. Basically making sure they were alone in the house. And they were.
Yes.
So they were alone in the house and were making sure. Now they went to this place, they said, because there was a lot of stuff on social media that said this house was so haunted, really scary haunted.
Yeah.
So that's why they went. Yeah. And they went with backpacks of equipment and everything, which was, they were ready for an investigation. So... that was that. So they do their sweep. Now, they have a couple of things. Instead of having an obelisk, they used a necrometer. I think I've looked that one up before. It's just another one of those apps, basically, that spit out words. And really, truly, how relevant are some of these words? Yeah. I don't know. You can say the same thing for the obelisk, but it's a standalone thing that's, for me, it's designed specifically for. It's just not an app on a phone that has no real wires or anything to create it. So I don't know. I don't hold a lot of stock in apps. I think they're more for entertainment value than anything.
Yeah.
Oh my. Pickles is the snoring away.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to cut him out, but I can't guarantee it. And so as they start going through their sweep and they're doing stuff, the first thing that I really noticed was Mark. He's the fellow that you'll see with glasses and a beard. He's rubbing at his hair a lot, playing with it, rubbing his head. His cheeks are rosy. And my first thought is, are you feeling okay? Because I don't know if he was overheated or what was going on there, but he didn't look like he was comfortable. Yeah, maybe it was warm. He's a little bit heavy, so maybe he was uncomfortable. But that was the thing I noticed. He was always rubbing at his head and playing with his hair, and I just wondered if he was feeling okay.
Maybe he felt buggy. I don't know.
Or maybe that's possible too. I mean, they did comment when they first came through the back door that there were spider webs. So, I mean, if the house has been abandoned, there should be bugs and spiders and stuff. So, it's possible. Anyway, back to this necrometer thing. One of the reasons why I'm saying a lot of times that it's spitting out a bunch of junk is, question here is they say, can you tell us your name? And its answer, 1800s. Okay, that's not relevant. That's not an answer to your question. So, I mean, the guy's trying to spin it going, 1800s. Have you been here since the 1800s? No. That was an irrelevant word that was probably just in your app. Anyway, once they finish their sweep, they do actually try to do some investigating. Yeah. And they're not bad at it.
Yeah.
They seem pretty decent. They seem to know what they're doing. But
I don't know. There's not a lot of activity.
No. And we'll get to that. But I mean, they were going on about, asking the questions and stuff. One of my initial thoughts were, how many real investigations have these guys been on? Do they just learn it from watching TV? Because most of it is very similar to what you see on TV. And I know I've said this before, but there's just so much on YouTube that I just don't always buy it. Now, these guys, to their credit, as time went on, I started shifting my idea a little bit. Because as you're saying, the house was very quiet. And one of the guys did come off saying, this is probably the quietest house we've ever done.
Yeah.
And then they commented later, there was no activity whatsoever. And then they showed or explained some of the devices that they'd used. No, they didn't show us because they must have been in the house for a few hours or maybe longer than a few hours, but just didn't show every icky picky detail. Yeah. Thank you, boys. Yeah. Because you don't have to show all that all the time. No. So they did show, or they did say they used a REM pod, a music box. They had K2s. They had their necrometer. They also talked about, I think they had a spirit talker app as well. They had a couple of different apps for trying to speak to somebody. So they'd use that. And they also had a spirit box. Nothing went off. Absolutely nothing. They tried several times and in several different rooms trying to get responses.
Yeah.
And so at the end, they said, we were really hyped up about this after hearing all the stuff on social media, but we didn't get nothing. Yeah. So their opinion was not haunted.
Yeah. And again, it was like the other guys, at least they didn't make stuff up.
Yeah. That, like I said, to their credit, they were honest. They didn't get nothing.
And he said he was disappointed.
Yeah.
And
because you hear all this. Oh, this is such a haunted place. Okay, let's go. And you get there, and you're so excited, and you want to find something, and you don't.
Yeah, it's like when we were at the church.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what we're going to find there, but
we found a lot.
More than
that place was crazy haunted. Yeah, crazy haunted. But
right down to the bathrooms.
Oh, the bathrooms. Where one of our guys was told to get out. Mm-hmm. That's because he went into a female bathroom and she said, get out. He looks at me and he goes, what should I do? I said, get out. This is a ladies' room. You get out. I'll stay. And that's the thing, too. You want to be respectful of your spirits. So that was funny. What should I do? Get out! Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that was a good one. I've never heard of these guys before. I certainly have no bones about watching another investigation, seeing what else they can accomplish, and maybe they'll find something sometime that we can watch. Now that we are aware of them, we'll certainly look for them, maybe review them again sometime down the road.
Yeah.
But no real problems there. I mean, they did things the right way.
Yeah.
I think they did things the right way. The only niggle I had when they were going through doing their security sweep, is what I call it, is they'd go to a room and they didn't push the door back against the wall to make sure there's nobody behind the door. Because you don't know. Yeah. And if they went upstairs to the 3rd floor, they didn't mention it. They didn't say if they went up there or not. And that would have been good to know, just because it was such a big place.
Yeah.
I do wonder if that was a servant's quarters originally.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes that's the case. And that little tiny stairway that went up, it wasn't like the big fancy one at the bottom, for the family. It was a very tight, small, narrow staircase. So I do wonder if that was where the servants' quarters were. I know in some places in the States, like in the South, some of their big antebellum manor houses down there, that's where the servants would be up where it was hot and sticky and gross. Well, maybe that was the same here. I mean, I don't know. They did show where some of the bells used to be bells for ringing the servants, but they didn't really show where those connected. I don't think that was possible anymore. But I wonder if that was servants' quarters upstairs. And that could have been an interesting place if they had investigated up there. And maybe they did, but they just didn't show it. Like I said before, you don't have to show every single hours-long bit of an investigation, the relevant parts. And I think even then it was close to like 40 or 50 minutes. So it was a good length of time. We didn't need 3 hours worth like some channels like to do. And, it's just too long. But anyway, so that one was good. Then we went on to find something else, which I thought was new. I think I had seen the title of this channel before. It's called Unusual Things. And I just kind of passed it over because maybe it wasn't what I was interested in for that particular topic or whatever. But this time, their Halloween special edition was on the Enfield Haunting. Now, for those not familiar with the Enfield Haunting, I'll bet you're familiar with The Conjuring 2. And that's what it's based on. So the Enfield Haunting is in the UK, in London, and it's a neighborhood called Enfield, and this is where that house was. Did you have any thoughts on that off the top?
Yeah and no, but...
Well, first of all, I want to just say it was very well done. Very professionally done.
Yeah. And he was really, really respectful.
Yes. Now, the gentleman that hosted the show had on his selfie stick with his camera. So he's walking down the street. Yeah. Now, he knows, and he said it, that the people in the area, they're tired of people going by the house and filming. And I mean, the house is lived in by people. People live there. So they don't want groups of fans and paranormal enthusiasts, cracking down their door to get a look at the house.
Yeah.
There's even a school just down the road and across the street that he says was used for filming. I don't remember that part, but...
Well, the girls were in school and they did a couple of scenes at
I don't really remember that, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But he said, again, he wasn't going to put the camera over the fence to film the playground because there were still kids there. It was that time of the day where there were kids around. Yeah. And he said it wasn't appropriate.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with the respectfulness. He walked up and down the street twice, once one way and then the other, just to kind of have a glance at the house as he's walking by. Did not stop and gawk or anything. Yeah. It was very, very respectful. I liked that.
Yeah.
And then after he had a look at the house, I was really surprised, directly across the street from the house, there's a crosswalk. Like you could walk across the crosswalk and right into 184 Green Street, which is where it was. Like it could have been more perfect when he was crossing the road, and there was
Yeah.
it was perfect. After that, he decided, here's only one of hims, that he was going to go to the cemetery and find Peggy, that's the mom's grave.
Yeah.
So he's walking around the cemetery for a while because he's told that she's buried there. Turns out she wasn't buried in the cemetery just down the road.
Yeah.
There's one 3 miles away. And that's where she was buried, as was Bill Wilkins.
Yeah.
Now, Bill Wilkins is the gentleman who, in the movie, and in, I guess, real life, is the gentleman who died in the house and was accused of being the ghost, the poltergeist,
Wow.
the bad guy, whatever. So he's buried in this same cemetery as Peggy.
Yeah.
So, and he's a real guy. He really is a real guy. So he did find Peggy's grave,
Yeah.
but he wanted to stay a little longer, but he couldn't. There was going to be a funeral very quickly. People were starting to show up in the corner, you could see. And so he said he couldn't stick around. So he found her grave, let us see her headstone, and wished her to rest in peace. It was quite nice, actually. It was, nice being here, rest in peace, blah, blah, whatever. That was very nice. And then he left, because of course he had to, and went looking for Bill Wilkins' grave.
Yeah.
Took him a little while, but he found it.
Yeah.
Bill and his wife Ethel buried together.
Mm-hmm.
Then he thought maybe what he would like to do is try to reach out to Bill and ask him some questions. Now, this whole thing, one of the things I really liked was that he didn't pick sides.
No.
He wasn't pro, this is The Conjuring 2, this is what happened, exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He wasn't, this never happened. He was at very middle of the road telling people to do your own research and make up your own mind.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really good.
Well, it's the way it should be.
Yeah, but you don't always hear that. You always get the one or the other. This happened and it should be just the way it was said. The movie was based on a case.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's never been proven, one way or the other, that it was real.
No.
There's a whole slew of people that say the kids faked it.
Yeah.
And there's a whole slew of people that say that they didn't.
Well, my opinion, I'll go with the credible investigators, like the guy from the SCA, whatever. It's an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent hours. I seen another special on the Enfield place. He spent hours and hours and hours, even after the girls admitted to faking some of the stuff. Mm-hmm. He still believed in them because you can't move a 300-pound fridge.
Yeah.
And
there is definitely some things that you can't explain.
Yeah. And, the knives so far in the doors,
I suppose if you threw them hard enough, but I don't think a child would be able to do that. Yeah. But they did. The problem is there was camera footage of Janet actually bending things and trying to bend things. So whether those kids were embellishing, and I believe they were, just for attention.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the other stuff wasn't going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it demonic?
I really don't think so, but it's not good.
No, whatever it wasn't good.
Yeah. And
when he was at the gravesite trying to talk to Bill, he really didn't get anything from Bill.
No.
And one of the questions was, did it happen or were the girls faking it? No response. And he finally got something on this kind of like a ghost box thing. Yeah. I guess the ghost tube. No, is that what he was using, the ghost tube?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure what app it was. It's that one that reverberates and makes sounds. And anyway, but I wasn't sure on it because there was just getting a whole bunch of stuff. And again, apps, I don't trust them. So according to Bill, if it was Bill, No, they didn't fake anything. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know, were you there? Did you go to the house? And he said yes, he went to the house, but he didn't say he haunted it. No, nothing like that. So, I mean, I don't know. He tried using an SLS app, Ghost Tube. That was Ghost Tube.
Yeah.
And again, what it's doing is mapping headstones.
Yeah.
So, and it was very clear. You could really see it.
Oh, yeah.
It was so obvious. So you guys take a look and you can see how it's just trying to map out these headstones.
Yeah.
Because they're the little small pieces and it's like it's trying to sit on that. No. You can tell that it's crap. It is total crap. So yeah, that was interesting. But he did a good attempt to try to communicate.
Yeah.
My niggle there was he said, "Oh, I'm going to leave you in peace. Thank you." And then he didn't leave. He tried 2 more things with 2 different pieces of equipment.
Yeah. Well,
But, don't say thank you. I'll leave you in peace now and then don't leave.
Yeah.
That's not right. Finish your stuff and then say I'm leaving now.
But he said again, I'll leave you in peace, and he left.
Yeah, that was at the end after doing the 2 more things.
Yeah, but still,
That's just like saying, if you want me to leave, tap on the floor and I will leave. Yeah. Okay, I'm leaving. Bye. You have to respect the spirit, and that's...
Or he can do a Columbo.
What?
Just one more thing.
But he didn't even say that. He could Columbo it, yeah, he could. But he didn't say that. He just kept on going with a couple other things. So that was my only niggle. I thought this was a really, really good factual history of the events of the Enfield Haunting. I thought it was very well done, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
So
he was very, very respectful and knowledgeable.
Yeah, he knew what he was talking about. He had his history down pat.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the fact that he didn't take sides. He was presenting the facts.
Yeah. And
he was sharing the information from both sides.
Yeah.
But he wasn't picking sides. He was presenting the facts. And that I found was, to me, that's the best documentary.
Yeah.
Don't try to pull me one way or the other.
Yeah.
Show me the facts and let me decide for myself.
Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I thought it was really, really well done.
I thought so too.
So we actually did subscribe to this one. I think. Yes, we did. We hit the subscribe button. It was because it was so good. Now, I don't know if he does other paranormal stuff, but it's unusual stuff.
But he
that's
said
cool.
he's a ghost guy.
Well, obviously he is, because he knows what he was doing with the equipment and stuff. And he has the stuff. So if he knows what he's doing, he's used them before. It's not like his first rodeo. So I really enjoyed it. I really liked that one. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dead City Paranormal was okay. Like I said, I'll watch them again to see what else they come up with. I'd like to see an actual investigation.
Yeah.
But their techniques were good.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to watch them again. Yeah. So we have 2 wins this time.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one or the other, Unusual Things was my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. So there you guys go. We got a couple of more to check out. Just remember, we watch these things so that you don't have to if we find something bad. But when we find something good, we're delighted to share.
Yes.
Have yourselves a good afternoon or a good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Happy hunting.
Happy haunting. Bye now.